I think you're muted.
Yeah, you need to unmute yourself. Somehow I got muted.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Okay, so my name is Jess, and like Brooke said, I have been a coach for a year now. I started my very first workout program, Transform 20, in March of last year. And so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and share a little bit of my story. Basically, health and fitness, well, health started for me 1 month after I got married. My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. And before that, it was always about like being skinny for me. And that sounds so ridiculous to say, but I was just really focused on like appearance and never paid any attention to the health aspect of things. I just remember growing up, like I literally grew up being told the phrase, like, you ate it, now you lift it. So I had this relationship with food that was like, you know, I should be restricting my calories. And if I ate too much, I needed to go do like a ton of cardio to burn that off. And that was like, that really started this awful cycle and mindset about food and exercise for me. So, I mean, I remember looking back, like in high school, even in middle school, I was always watching what I was eating. I was doing like fad diets. Out of high school, I took like phentermine diet pills, so awful. But it was just all about like not eating a whole lot. And then my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and a friend from our church reached out to me, and she started telling me about this way of like healing through food. And my mom did the traditional like chemo and everything course, but once our friend told me about like food, you know, using that to heal not only like cancer, but, you know, different diseases and ailments and stuff, it really opened my eyes, and I started doing more research. And it just amazed me that food was that powerful. And that it had the ability, if you were eating the right things, to actually help you get better. And my mindset began to shift about what I was eating. And instead of it being like all about restricting calories, it was more about like nourishment and just taking care of myself. So that's kind of where the mindset shift happened for me. And I started paying more attention to what I was eating, getting more veggies in. And my mom was doing the same, even though she went through chemo. Together and really as a family, we were just trying to be healthier and focus more on that instead of just like outward appearance, vanity, all of that stuff. So for a few years, food was, or nutrition was, my focus. And I still had no idea what I was doing exercise wise. I could never stick to anything. I was never consistent. I just really relied on what I was eating to kind of keep me balanced. And it worked for a while. And the first time that it really went crazy on me is I was preparing for my wedding. You know, we all want to look good in our wedding dress and feel good. And so my sister, she was like my gym partner, and we would go and just do the elliptical because that's really all I knew what to do. And we would do that, and I would go sit in the sauna and like just sweat like I was preparing for like a wrestling match and like trying to make weight. And so I dropped weight, and I, you know, felt great in my wedding dress. And then my husband and I went on an all-inclusive cruise for a honeymoon. And I spent most of that cruise, because obviously we were eating everything. I spent most of that cruise like feeling awful, having like all kinds of stomach issues because, you know, the weeks prior I was like starving myself and just like sitting in the sauna to lose weight. And then I like went on this binge eating on this all-inclusive cruise, and I think I gained like close to 10 pounds. It was insane. So I had to figure out like what, you know, I had to figure something else out besides just trying to do the nutrition thing. And I always wanted fitness, exercise to be like a lifestyle for me. But like I said, I was never consistent with it. So fast forward to getting pregnant with our first child. And Brooke, I don't know if you started coaching when, like during your first pregnancy. No, second? Okay. Well, I remember seeing Brooke. We have our 3 kids the exact same ages. And after my first pregnancy, I was all out of whack. But just my body was, you know how it is postpartum. But I remember seeing Brooke. I don't know how I came across your account, but this girl was showing up pregnant in her living room, like bebopping around, having fun. You could tell she felt good, even though her belly was growing. And then I watched her postpartum journey, and then I watched her do it again with her 3rd child. And I was pregnant at the same time she was, and I was going through the postpartum at the same time she was, but I was not feeling that great. I was not looking that great. I was struggling. And so after my 3rd pregnancy, I decided like it was time. I needed to reach out, whatever this girl is doing. I needed some of that. I needed the accountability. And I just, however she was able to be consistent, that's what I wanted to do. So when I reached out to her, I just went all in with coaching, because I knew that if I signed up as a coach, and started sharing on social media, that would be like the added accountability that I desperately needed to stay on track and just show up for myself. So that's kind of my story.
Love it. So I have a few questions for Jess, and then I'm just going to leave it open for other people. So my first question is like, how did you get over your fear of putting yourself out there? I know you were already pretty vocal on social media, so maybe there wasn't any fear, but like if there was, how did you get over it? Or if you had something else you were fearful of, how did you get over it? And like, how did you find your voice? Because I think that's something, especially as newer coaches, or even still today, it's like, I don't know what to say. I don't like, especially with everything going on with the coronavirus, it's like, I just want to hole up and hide. And how do you get over that?
So for me, my biggest fear was being concerned about what other people were going to think about what I was doing. So like you said, like I was pretty active on social media. Like I didn't have a big following or anything like that, but you know, I posted a lot, and I had a lot of people that we knew personally following me. So that made me nervous. Like, what are these people going to think that I'm doing? So there's a few things I think that really helped me just overcome that fear and to just grow in confidence. The first is just to start sharing. I feel like the more that you share and just get used to showing up every single day, just the easier it does become, and the more confident you become in sharing your journey. The second thing is that I realized like this is my story. It's my journey. And I know that story best. So no one can watch me, you know, and tell me that I'm wrong, or, you know, I'm doing it wrong or whatever. You can't tell your own story the wrong way. So just owning, you know, that this is your life, your story, your experiences as you're working through, you know, your health and fitness journey. And like you share that, no one can tell you, you know, it's wrong, it's not right, whatever. So just knowing that it's yours. And the third thing is that really helped me is, who cares what the other people are thinking? I feel like, you know, you might always have, like, there's a couple people in my family who like to give me grief about what I'm doing. Like, I don't know how you share so much and stuff like that. But those people are not paying your bills. Those people are not living in your home, experiencing, like, those people don't see, you know, my husband stressed out of his mind because how much he's working. They're not here to experience that. They're not, you know, sharing all of what happens in our home with me. This is my business and my experiences, and they're not paying my bills. So you just learn to not care what they think. That answered that.
I don't know if you can see the chat at all, but people are blowing up with.
Oh, I can. I have it off.
I do that too when I'm talking, but like, wow, that was really good. So thank you for sharing that. So as for like new coaches, or, you know, maybe coaches who've been in the business for a couple months, you know, I think we all still feel new for quite a while, but like, what are like 2 to 3 activities that you would recommend from the get-go, or that you just always do?
Okay. So first, I just want to say, like, follow the business activity tracker. If I wish I would have done that from day one, because I started sharing my workouts like no problem. And, you know, I would talk about the workouts and how I felt. But for me in the beginning, my warm market like saw what I was doing, and they were interested in it. So they were coming to me and asking me questions, and a lot of them were joining me. So I think that kind of gave me this like a little bit of like a false sense of like, oh, like I'm doing it, you know, like this is working. But that will fade away. And I didn't have the inviting to fall back on. So inviting is huge. And I wish that I would have done that from day one. I actually did not start consistently inviting until maybe like 6 months in. I know I've had this conversation with you, and I said like, oh my gosh, why did I not do this sooner? Because it does work in like, what is like 3-month cycles of inviting. And after my warm market kind of like faded away, and, you know, a lot of them joined me, I had to like start from scratch. So I would say sharing your workouts, inviting, and personal development those are the top 3 things I would say are must-have activities. Because the personal development for me, just growing your mindset, like just knowing from the beginning that this is a business and there's going to be challenges. It's not, you know, I don't know why, I guess network marketing kind of gets the reputation of like, this is going to be, you know, a get rich quick thing, or like it's just so easy all the time. But this is a legit business. And I feel like the sooner I realized that and understood that challenges were going to come up, you know, that personal development really helped me work through that. So.
Okay, I know we're going to have a few questions at the end, but like, I feel like now's a pretty good time. So Brooke has a question. I want to know the mindset shift that happened when you started inviting consistently. And I remember too, it was like not that long ago when you're like, I invited my first like 5 people today. And I was like, how have you been hitting Success Club up into this point? I'm like, I remember just like being like shocked, but I'm like, well, dang, she hasn't been inviting. Just wait till she starts inviting. She's going to like blow this off the roof. So
yeah. So, and this, I can maybe go into the next question with this, but just the sooner you realize that this is a numbers game, like really, the more people that you invite, yes, you're going to get some no's, but you're also going to get some yeses, but you won't know those unless you're inviting. And just being okay with getting the no's, because they really do mean not right now. And I wrote this down in my notes, but and I'm going a little off topic maybe, but I really view my social media as like being my storefront. And if people are consistently showing up in my stories and liking my posts and commenting on my posts, and messaging me, like that tells me they are interested. So I'm going to keep sending them invitations every month when I do like different themes every month in my virtual gym. And I'm going to keep inviting them. They keep showing up, so I'm going to keep inviting them. So that, I don't know, that was a huge like light bulb moment for me, is just be okay with getting the no's, because they really also squirrel brain. I try to think of myself like, putting myself in their shoes, like where I was watching you over and over and over again. Like I knew that I desperately wanted to do that, but my own fears were holding me back. I had my own hesitations. Like it wasn't anything that you were doing like wrong. You were totally inspiring me, and your consistency like really spoke to me, because that's something that I really wanted for so long. But I think my fears were holding me back. So I try to think about, like, why are people, still consistently watching me? It is for a reason. And so I'm just going to keep inviting them until it's the right time for them to join me.
Love that. Yes, that totally fed into the next question, which was, how do you get over the nose? So thank you for that. And then the last question I have is, how do you build momentum and find new people? So, and I know like you had a bunch of momentum going even like a few months ago. And I know some of us know this, like, and then like every business does, we have setbacks and coaches cancel and things happen. So like, how do you like rebuild yourself and then find that momentum again? Because I'm pretty sure you had like 5 or 6 new coaches in March, and your momentum right now was like insane. So give us all the details about that.
So my original goal was, and I made this with the other Brooke, we were working together to be diamonds in December. And I was one coach away. And then literally like half my team canceled. So momentum for me has come from consistency, like just plugging into the bat sheet and doing that day in and day out. And I think a mistake that I made before was when I started to see my momentum increasing, I kind of like backed off of my activity. And I think I was like coasting a little bit, and don't do that. Just keep going. Just keep plugging in to the activity every single day. Would be my best advice for gaining and keeping that, momentum going. Just, you have to keep going with your activity. And then what was the second part of the question?
How to like find new people? How are you continuing to find new people?
So I really recently have been doing the method where you like go to hashtags of like your interests. So like for me, I'm a homeschool mom, and there's a big community there of moms sitting at home, teaching and doing all the things. And so I will go into even like specific curriculum that I'm using, or like the style of homeschooling that I do. And I will just start looking through those accounts, and just looking at, if I find an account that, I like their pictures, like we have a lot in common, I will start, liking and commenting and connecting with that person. And you can really just keep going with it. Like, go to one of their photos and look at their likes and start looking at those people who have liked, that photo, and keep going on and on and on. But making connections with people has been really big for me. At first, I was honestly about just getting more numbers of followers. So I would do like a follow loop, and don't waste your time doing that. I mean, for me, like, seeing a bigger number like kind of boosted my confidence a little bit. But as far as connections go, that didn't work for me. So you can save yourself the time of doing that, or the whole like follow, unfollow thing. I've tried that. I've basically tried everything, but what works best for me is just finding people with similar interests and really spending a little time making connections with them. I think that's like the first thing I printed out this little booklet of batch sheets, and it really helps me to like stay organized. And also, it was big for me this year to start tracking what I was doing. But the very first thing on number 2 says initiate connections and add followers. So the connecting part is like what I was not doing before. And that's something new that I really started implementing, which has helped with those conversations. And then, seeing, like, figuring out what the need is, how you can help, and then, how you can help meet that need, is something that I've been doing differently versus just adding, followers for the numbers.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, I'm going to leave it open to questions from you guys that you guys have for Jess. So, anyone got anything for her? I have a question. I have like 3 of them. So if anyone else has it, just keep going in. What is something like you recommend right now for personal development? Oh, I think you have to unmute yourself.
Sorry. I love The Slight Edge. That book totally changed my mindset, because before I was like very much an all or nothing type of person. And this is, with my nutrition, with my workouts, with this business, if I felt that I messed up at all whatsoever, I was just like a failure. That was my mentality. But The Slight Edge is all about like small, consistent activities adding up to big results over time. And that, just reading that, just changed something for me, and has helped me really to like break down things into smaller goals, so I can focus on those smaller, achievable goals and kind of build confidence along the way. So that, I love listening to podcasts. I listen pretty much every time I'm in the car. I'm listening to a podcast. I love Rachel Hollis, just because she has so many different female entrepreneurs on her podcast, that it's very reassuring to hear the struggles that everyone else, goes through, and how much work it takes just to have a successful business. And, it just helps you to push through when you're having those challenging times.
Who else has a question for Jess? I know it's getting close to 10 o'clock. Well, it is 10 o'clock your time. Night owl. Okay, I'll go with one more mine. I have my last one, and then if there's anything else, we can, and then we'll wrap it up. But what is your next goal?
I really would love to hit 2-star. Just because we've talked about that before as being a place where I could really bring in, like a full-time income for my family. So I think that's my next one. I need to set a date for that.
We'll talk about that more.
Okay. But yeah, that's it.
Love it. All right, any other questions for Jess?
I have a question. So after you lost a bunch of your coaches, like, did you make adjustments to like foster, I don't know, I guess it depends on the person, but foster coaches that would want to be business builders, or like make adjustments based on that happening?
So the big thing that I did recently was I started the free week. I started offering that. After I lost a bunch of coaches, I was just kind of like, I felt a little bit stuck, and what I was doing like wasn't really working, which is a thing that I wanted to say, is if something isn't working, it doesn't mean that you are, a failure. You just need to kind of like pivot and try something else. And that is what I did with the free week. So I kind of did things a little bit differently. I kind of combined a coach sneak peek and a free week. And I was just like kind of breadcrumbing like why I love coaching throughout the free week. And I think it really resonated with the people in there, because most everyone who was in that signed up as a coach. And that was my most recent push to Diamond. So I think just talking about coaching more. Before, when I had the coaches on my team, they were more so there for the discount. And just talking about coaching and the business side of things is something that I've been trying to do more. And I think that is making a bit of a difference as far as who is signing up and why. And even if right at this moment they're not like super active coaches, it is on the back of their mind, and it's conversations, that we are having behind the scenes. So they're not just there for the discount.
Okay, sorry. Dana asked if you have an onboard system for new coaches at all. And if you need to, we can always answer that later. That's okay. And Kelly, I'm not sure who's the author of The Slight Edge. I wonder if Google would help us out with that. Oh, sweet baby.
Okay, sorry. We'll continue like this.
And Dana just asked, do you have an onboard system for new coaches?
It's something that I'm working on. I'm trying to be very organized with that. So no, technically no, not right now. Not yet, but I am working on it. I would love to have something that I can just like plug them right into. But I don't yet.
Sweet baby. Needed mama snuggles, huh?
Yeah.
Beauty of being a mom and a CEO at the same time, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we will let you go, Jess, and thank you so much for all your wisdom tonight and sharing your heart with us. You are so inspiring, and we're all so proud of you for just crushing it lately. So everyone, make it a good night, and I will post this to our team page tomorrow. So see you guys.
Bye. Thank you.